A very good morning to all the techno managers today. And my name is Dr. S. Ranjita Kumari, and I'm from Department of School of Computer Studies, MCA. So here today, it's like we'll be looking at what are the financial frauds which are associated with the financial institutions. And to be very honest, we are not going deep. We are not going to dive deep. Just we are going to touch the iceberg, right? I could say it's the iceberg, and what's actually is happening, and how regularly we are updating our technologies and everything. But at the same time, these fraudsters, they are updating. So they are one step ahead. Again, we'll be one step ahead, and again, we have to combat everything. So we'll be looking at like what is fraud, and in financial domain, how this fraud occurs, and especially we'll be looking on banking sectors, and how the analytics helps you in combating all these financial frauds. So to begin with, let's start. Let us consider so I begin with day. So knowingly or unknowingly, every day, in day-to-day life, the analytics has it has mingled with me. So morning I'll be getting up, right? So okay, and after that I will be doing some exercises. So while doing exercises, I will be using my smart watch or smart device to calculate my heart rate or my calories, how much calories I'm burning. So this analytic, so this there the data is collected, right? So this data will be, to be very honest, it will be used by the health department, right? So they will be using it for their improvement of the business. Okay, fine. So once the exercise is over, I'm getting ready for my office, and then I'm coming through by two-wheeler or by four-wheeler. So again, I will be having, I could go and search which, whether the traffic is very heavy through this way. So again, the data is present, and data tells me don't go with this in this way. This is heavy traffic. If you go via this way, it will be moderate. So that's way. Again, the data is generated. Again, I'm coming to office, I'm receiving a plenty of mails, then I'm receiving, I will be acknowledging it. So when I'll be acknowledging it, let us consider, you will be also knowing. So Gmail, if I'm typing out, automatically it will show me the answer, what I have to type, right? So thus again, that is analytics, that is analytics is taking place. And then suddenly I'll be opening my Facebook. Again, I'll be getting the reminder that today is my birthday, or my friend's birthday and all. So again, we'll be going, I'll be sending her birthday wish, right? So again, analytics. Then evening, I'll be receiving some messages that this offer is there in this mart and all those stuff. So day to day, everywhere we have analytics. And when we see analytics, it's playing a major role in every domain. So mainly analytics, the people they are using to improve their business. So that is the thing which I'm coming to tell. That is, being a techno managers, you will be appointed in any MNC or anywhere. The main goal will be you have to show the profit to the company. So that will be your main goal, right? So when there is, you have to show the profit, there comes the finance. So here, if we deal with the finance, there is a lot of issues which are related with the finance. So for example, nowadays, if we take all the, even from a small, from a small grocery shop to the um, a big retail market or hypermarket, they all are having what do you call systems, automated systems. Whenever you go inside, they will ask your name, and they will ask you, even they will not even ask your name. The first thing they will ask you is, please give your mobile number. So with that mobile number, again, they will generate what do you call the data, and they will frequently send you the message, the offer you have today, what is the offer you have tomorrow, all those stuff. So they will be sending today. So from a small grocery shop to hypermart, then e-commerce, everybody is maintaining systems. They all are relying on the IT systems, and everything they are storing in their infrastructure, either in the cloud, or they have their own servers, and they are maintaining. But here, the main problem which can occur is these systems, right? These business processes are very much vulnerable towards the hackers or the fraudsters. So they should have a proper mechanism for this fraud detection. First thing, they should have proper mechanism for fraud prevention, because fraud should not occur. But even though if the fraud has occurred, they should have proper mechanism to combat that. We call it as fraud prevention and fraud detections, right? So there should be because whatever profit they are earning, if there is any fraudulent attack, means everything they will be losing it. So here today, I have set up the stage like this. So first we'll be looking at what is financial fraud and a few real-time examples, and then we'll be looking at what is fraud analytics and how these financial institutions are using analytics for combating the frauds. So that part we'll be looking today. So, and mainly we will be discussing with the financial institutions, right? Okay, let's begin. Financial fraud with analytics. See, as the first thing we have to keep in mind is, as the technology, every day new innovations are coming, every day new types of attacks are coming. So that is the first thing we have to keep in mind. So new types of crime. If you are having a smartphone in your hand, you are very much susceptible, vulnerable for towards a what do you call it? Cybercrime. So having a mobile phone itself, I mean, at any time, any attack could happen to me. So that is the thing we have to keep in mind. So now, when I speak about financial fraud, so financial fraud, if I speak, it's like deceiving someone, or money laundering, or just stealing others' money. To be very simple words, we are taking others' money. That's it. So that for our personal gain. So that is your crime. Actually, that is a crime, financial crime. So see, for example, now it is a COVID season, in a COVID era. Now, if you see, new types of financial attack has come. So randomly, you may get a call that please give your Aadhaar card or PAN card number, or you give your credit card details. Why? You will be asking why? Because they will tell Pradhan Mantri has sanctioned an amount of 5,000 or 10,000 to your account. In order to carry out this, we need, in order to transfer that, we need. So this is the crime actually which is happening now, right? This is one sort of financial crime. So we should be very careful in that. And another crime before 2 days, this is the real thing which is happening as you're in you're in online learning mode, I'm telling you. So this is the thing, a video which was shared by our director sir before 2 days regarding, virtual kidnapping. So what is the virtual kidnapping? I just say, so these are the frauds which are happening actually. So as the technology evolves, as the new scenario comes, these people have new techniques to, to commit fraud and collect some money from you. So I just talking about virtual kidnapping. Actually, these people, what they will be doing, they will be targeting the students whose parents are working. This is the simple example which is happening now. So they will be targeting the students who are attending classes in the online and whose parents are working. So they will not be at home, right? So when what is happening, what they will do, they will engage the students, and and they will make call to the parents that we have kidnapped your kid and we need some ransom amount for that. But when parents try to call their kids, what will happen? So they will be engaged. So they will not be picking up their calls. And at the same time, the parents will be compelled to transfer the amount. And because as we are living in metropolitan or very city, we will not even know the phone numbers of our neighbors as well. So this is one type of, why I'm telling this is as the technology evolves, the crime also evolves. So we should have a, a strong mechanism which could, which could stop this crime. So sometimes we may not stop it, but we should be in position to, detect at least what has happened and how it has happened and how we are going to deal with it. So this is the small story which I like to share you. So you be careful. This is called as a virtual kidnapping, and the video was shared by our director sir before 2 days, and I got shocked. So the one question which might come in our mind: how do these criminals know that my kid is alone in home? How they know that I'm working? How they know that both the parents are working? The thing is that the data you are generating in Facebook, the data you are generating in Instagram, what you will be sharing your photos with your kids, and by knowingly or unknowingly, you will be telling your designation, everything is available in the net. So if I type your name, everything will come in the net. So you have to be very careful when we are dealing with this type of social media, right? So this is the thing I want to tell. Okay. So fraud is a crime, as I told you. Then who are responsible to control this fraud? Right. So as a techno managers, in future, you are the people who will be controlling this fraud. So you are the people who will detect if the fraud has happened, and you are the people who will control the frauds. Like you will be the people prevent the frauds. So see, so if you are in the position to control or prevent these frauds, means you should be aware of what is technology, what is happening in technology, right? So that is very, very important. So how what technology will be using? Obviously you will be using data analysis, right? And in data analysis, what is data analysis? As I told you, you are generating n number of data without your knowledge, right? So daily morning you're sharing a comment on social media in Twitter, or you're posting your photos on your Instagram, so you are generating data, right? So all this data tells about you, right? So if you want to, let us consider you are working in a bank and you want to protect your customer, then the customer trusts you, so you should be aware of all this data, right? And then only you will be in position to help your customer. So this is what I wanted to tell here. So financial fraud is just gaining the personal gain involving financial transactions. So, and it is a crime, and you should and as a techno manager, you should what do you call you should stop it, you should prevent it, you should control it. So if you are in the position to stop it, control it, and prevent it, so you should be aware of what are the technologies available and how we can do it. So here today we'll be learning on like how data analysis will help, right? So now we'll see so what are the types of banking frauds which are happening, right? So first type of so these are the basic things which are happening, so that's what I'm telling. So this is not limited one, as I told, I'm going to touch only the iceberg. There are plenty of frauds which are happening every day, right? So the first fraud, let us consider identity fraud. So what is identity fraud? So a person will be like impersonating like you, he will be acting like you. So for example, he has your card, he has your card, and he could make use of that card, the pin number. If you knowingly unknowingly you have given pin number, you have stored your number somewhere, they might get it. Also they have key loggers and all, they will easily get it. So that is the first thing, identity fraud. So a person will be acting like you. And I hope even you in Supreme Court of India about 2 or 3 years, I mean 3 to 4 years, between 3 to 4 years, there was a case in Supreme Court. And that case, it's like ATM was ATM belonged to the wife, and the amount was taken by the husband. And while taking the amount, there was some sort of he couldn't take, or some issues were there. So the Supreme Court of India, what they have told is, you are not the authentic person to use your to use the ATM card of your wife. So that is the thing. So this is again, even if you are using your own mama's or papa's identity, ATM card, it becomes your identity fraud. And if something happens while using your parents, ATM card, again, you are responsible for that, right? You cannot claim anything. So this is one type of identity fraud. So somebody is stealing your card and all. Then next comes phishing. So phishing is like, we don't like to go to ATM, I don't want to go to bank, I just want to do everything, whatever I want to do, I want to do through online, right? So let us consider I have an account in State Bank of India. So I'll be getting an authentic message, very similar like State Bank of India, right? And I'll be clicking on that message, and I'll be logging into that, and I'll be giving my credentials present in the card, but actually it belongs to some fraudster. So you should be very, very careful while doing any online transactions. So you should have OTP, that OTP concepts and all those things, they came later. So now still they have evolved. Even OTP could be sent to their mobile phones. So now they have come with the biometrics technology and all. right? So this is the one thing, one type of fraud. Again, the card fraud, like so identity fraud, as I told you, somebody has stolen your card. And identity fraud means, card fraud, you mean, stealing your credit card, right? Giving your number, and all those some things comes under your card fraud. Then comes skimming. So skimming is, I hope you remember, before 2 or 3 years before, even State Bank of India asked all the customers to go and receive a new ATM card. Even they have the existing one, they asked them to scrap it and get the new ATM card with a new, I mean, a chip card. They call it as a chip card. Why? Because these people, they have a skimmers in the ATM machine. So whenever we are giving the card, means they will get our all the details and everything, they will copy, and then they will be using our card. So this is one type of fraud. Another type of fraud which is happening in bank is money laundering. So this is the greatest money laundering in India. In colloquial forms, we call it as hawala. So what is hawala? Hope you know that the money will be received in an illegitimate manner. So some drug dealing or some smuggling they would have earned through in illegitimate manner, and they will invest in a, what they will do. There are many banks all over the world where they will not uh, you know release the details of the account holder. So especially Swiss banks and all. So there, these people, they will go and keep these monies and all, right? And this is one type of money laundering. So there are another kind, like the people will not have any companies, but they will tell that. So these are the let us consider, I will not be owning any company, but I'll tell to the government that I have X company X, and I will be getting tax exemptions for that company X, right? And I'll be showing false fund flow through that company. Actually, there is no company called as X, but I will make my illegitimate money to, so what is called black to white. So these are the frauds which are happening. And you, again, I'm telling, this is not only these frauds are not happening. There are several other frauds which are happening, but simply as a few only I have discussed. So how to combat all this? So what are the measures which they have taken, these financial institutions have taken to combat this? So that's what we are going to see. So before moving further, so this is another type of example which I would like to share. See, here a lady, um, she's claiming for false insurance, right? She's claiming for false insurance. So actually now, every all over the world, if they are not only what they are not believing on your claims, what they are doing is, if you are telling that my car got damaged in floods, means they will go and check your social media data. So what you were doing on that day, how much you were active in the social media, what messages you were you were sending to your friends. At the same time, if you are claiming that there was a flood, that there is something happened, they will go and check the weather report. So whether is it actually possible and all, right? So all these things, so whatever data you are producing every day, you are controlled by that data. So no, so this is one example how insurance, they are combating the frauds which is happening in their sector. Then another is health insurance. So health insurance, if you talk about, in now I think in UK around 100 million pounds they have saved by implementing a analytics strategy. Because every year these people were they were claiming false false mediclaims. So they have controlled around, and this year actually I think it's a 2019 reports, it's around 100 billion pound they have saved. They have saved using their fraud analytics, anti-fraud analytics. So these are the frauds which is happening, and this happened here now. So a few clippings I have given. So this, you see, this happened in December 2019. A man, he was selling actually some furniture, right? So some I don't know, some website like no OLX something else he was selling. He was about to sell, and he has been asked to give a account number and all. So he gave everything, but to his shock, what he found, instead of the amount credited to his account, for example, he was selling for 60,000 or something, but instead 1 lakh got debited from his account. So this is the one type of fraud. So you should be very careful while dealing in online transactions. And another thing, like, a public phone, so for example, if you're going and you are let us consider you're in an airport, or you're, this happened now in March, November. So here this date is 14th November, sorry, 14th November 2019. It has happened in New Delhi. So this man, actually, he was out of charge in his mobile phone, and he went to charge his phone. So to his shock, after the charge is over, he found nothing was left in his account. So you should be very careful when you are plugging any chargers in the public place, because the hackers will be there. They will be, they will have hacking hubs. Hacking hubs, we call it as, and they will retrieve your data, and they will transfer everything from your account. Again, it was reported to Delhi Airport Police, and see, here I would have given cannot place, in Delhi cannot place. And this is another, these are the frauds. The various frauds. Paytm goes to CBI, claims fraud by user. So these are the different frauds, which financial frauds, which are happening, and we should be very, very, very careful in that. And this is the data of last year, 2019. How many frauds have happened in fiscal year 2019? Around 149 crore. So this has actually happened. See, 2017, 18, 34,700 number of frauds. It has kept on increasing, right? And here you see Delhi. So totally how many ATM frauds, UP, how many ATM frauds, Punjab, Gujarat, and everywhere, no? So these are the ATM frauds are the thing which are happening very, so that's what I was telling, this phishing, and then your card payment and everything. This is the main thing. Then skimming. So this is the main fraud which the people, they get affected, right? So here, so these are the things. So, okay, fine. So these are, so far we have seen these are the frauds which have occurred. So what my analytics is going to do? What my analytics is going to combat? How? What are the, what it will do? So that's what we are going to see. So so my analytics, when I say, it is the combination of the technology, the algorithms, right? So, and with a small human intervention, I could easily combat. Would say I could easily, but it's not very. It's a tedious job only. So we have to analyze a lot of data. All right, and this is possible only if we have sound knowledge in technology. We should have sound knowledge what's happening around, what types of frauds are happening around, right? So this is the thing. So fraud analytics, it is the, I could say, it's a combination of analytical technology and fraud detection techniques with human interactions to combat the frauds which are happening. So, so this is the example which I would like to share. Now let's consider we all are having a, so if I have State Bank account, you may Union Bank account, we have ICICI account, Axis Bank account. So before 10 years, usually we used to go to banks, right? We used to go to banks for any sort of transaction, right? We used to go to banks, and we have to stand in line. A token will be given by the cashier, and if our token number comes, I could go and get my cash and all. Are we doing that now? No. The thing is that maximum everyone, they don't like to go to banks. Everything is happening through a phone. So again, what are the things which are available for consumer banking? For as a consumer, what is the thing which is available? Obviously, I could have my online banking system. I could use my system, or I could have my mobile apps. Even Government of India has released BIM and all, no, to use. They want you to become digital. They want you to become digital. You need not go in personal, right? Then again, I'm very much lazy. I don't want to type. Then go with Google Assistants. You have digital assistants, then you can simply you tell what you want, so it will fetch, retrieve, and give it to you. Not only this, nowadays we are also, most of us are having, during before 2 to 3 years, when there was, demonetization, everybody started using Paytm. And now everyone is using Google Pay, I hope, because it doesn't ask anything directly. If you Google Pay is there, instantly your amount is credited. So everybody is very much comfortable with Google Pay. And sometimes if I want to pay to somebody who is abroad, then I will prefer PayPal and all. Right. So all these things are available. So wow, what we come to say is the scenario is not same as it was before, even before 2 or 3 years. Now these financial institutions are dealing with the people who are using social media and who are using smart devices. So they have to keep on updating. And these are the people, the people who are using smart devices and the people who are, who are very active in social media are also very vulnerable towards the attacks which are happening. So you should be very careful in that. So they have to, they have to deal them. So how they are going to do, so that is the first, challenge they have. So as I have mentioned here, they have to give the best digital offerings. A digital offering means it should be user friendly, because if I enter into some website or enter into some application app, mobile app, and if I'm not comfortable, I'll not be using that. So it should give me good user experience. We call it as UI and UX, right? It should give me good user interface, right? So as they are dealing with these people, they have to maintain innovations. Got it? Because the people in this era, we all expect innovation. At the same time, they also have to maintain the technology, and they have to maintain the security and safety of their customers, right? So that is the first thing. And apart from that, as I told you, we don't only have we don't only rely on them. We also rely on Google Pay, PayPal, Venmo, Alipay, and something like that. Even we have blockchains, we have cryptocurrencies. So to be very honest, generally till now, we rely, if I say a bank, nationalized bank, I trust my bank, right? I trust my bank. So these banks, they have to keep their trust as well. The trust of their, they have to keep up the trust of their customer as well. Even though, some customers will pay through Google Pay. So I have paid through Google Pay, but it has not created, didn't get credit. What should I do? The answerable person is again your bank. So bank has to maintain that also. So this is the next challenge we have. Then another thing, challenge we have is synthetic identities. We call it as synthetic identities. So what do you mean by synthetic identities? So I think you will be, you would have watched the advertisements which are coming in the websites, not websites, TV. Like you need not go to bank. You could open your account from your mobile phone, right? So see, when there is less human intervention, I'm Ranjita Kumari. Somebody can impersonate like me, like Ranjita Kumari, and they can create a dummy account in my name also. So anything is possible. So even though I have created, let us consider Ranjita Kumari, somebody could have hacked and they could, they could become Ranjita Kumari and they could transfer the amount from my system. So this all thing is possible. So that is the thing, challenge they are facing. So this is the another challenge this they are facing. So another challenge which these financial institution is facing is business email compromise. So business email compromise means many sectors, like many companies and all, there are corporate companies, they will have automated system to send and receive any transfer for any transaction, amount transaction. So here, these companies will be getting legitimate mail. It will be looking very legitimate from authentic, it will be very looking very authentic, and it will be asking for transfer of money, and your money will get transferred to some other person. So this is another, we call it as BEC, business email compromise. So this is another great, another big threat which is existing. Then again, a customer side compromised in online session. I'm doing an online session, OTP is generated, so that's somewhat okay. But sometimes I will be entering my credentials in the wrong websites, in the fraudster websites. And also hope you remember about this SIM swap. The fraudsters will be calling you. They will be telling you to remove your SIM. It will get activated 2 or 3 days. At that time they will get all your details and they will do everything. So this is another big challenge to them. So and next is Another challenge we have is like the payments nowadays. If I'm transferring within 10 seconds or within 5 seconds, I want everything to be credited into my beneficiary account. So payment is huge. The number of people who are using is huge. The volume of data transaction. So everyone is doing everything through mobile apps and web apps. So everything is huge. So this, how to deal with all these stuffs. So when you're in a financial institution as a financial analyst, you have to look at all these things. So these are the only limited challenges, main challenges I have mentioned. Apart from that, we have several other challenges. So how are you going to satisfy your customer? How are you going to, so that is the main thing we need. You have to satisfy them with good user experience. You have to give the best what do you call offers. You have to give them the best safety measures. Everything you have to give should be the best. So this is the thing. So these are the challenges, and how my analytics is going to help. So that's what we mean here. So now let's consider so you could see here we have something called as contextual data. So what do you mean by contextual data? Means data about yourself. So see, it will if it's somebody Miss X, what language does she speak, where does she live, what is the weather condition, what is the channel preference, right? What is the location she is she is business owing a business or something else? What is the purchase history? What is the past behavior? So what is the device she is using? What is the time of day? Right? So let us consider, so analysis, this is the data. The data about you is collected, right? So that data about you is collected. For example, Ranjita Kumari, she generally purchases grocery for let us consider for 4 to 5,000 per month, and she is paying her credit card through credit card for her credit card, let us consider. And suddenly, and her monthly expenses through credit card will be, let us consider, 10,000 to 15,000. But suddenly one fine day, uh, you know it's happening like that, around 60 to 70,000 has been spent, and the location of the device is not where she belongs to Coimbatore. Means the location of device is not Coimbatore, it's somewhere else, like let us consider Delhi or Bangalore. So at that time, the bank will issue you before transferring the amount, the bank will issue, they will just confirm with you, is it you? Right? So this is happening now. So yes, if you confirm yes, then only your transaction will takes place. So fraud detection, how it could be combated means, first thing is data about you is collected. So before, so how they have sent you the message? Because they know the pattern. If Ranjita Kumari is there, she will spend around 5,000 on grocery, or she will spend on 5,000 on diesel. So monthly expenses on her is 15 to 20,000. But suddenly she is spending 60 to 70,000 on a day on for some purchase, and she is not in the location where she is supposed to be. Means there is something abnormal. So there comes your technology. These algorithms, the technology helps you to find what if something abnormal has happened. Right? So that's what we mean here. And let us consider then suddenly again I'll be using, let us consider I have Redmi Note Pro. If the other person is using some other thing, no, so again they will track it. Then biometric identification, it's very very important. This thing no, nowadays, how you keep your mobile phones, the machine learning will it will analyze how do you keep your mobile phones, in which position you keep, what is the speed by at which you will type the letters or alphabets in your mobile phone, or in your in a laptop or in your system. So speed, and how your face is, and how you speak, the modulation. Because sometimes what may happen, somebody may threaten you to open your phone or something, if you have given some biometric identity password. And so what will be your regular tone, so if something is missing, so this machine learning, everything, it will learn everything. It will learn everything, your mannerism, how you speak, how in what speed do you type, everything it will learn. And what it will do, If there is some abnormal, it will not allow you to proceed further. Right? So that's what we mean here, person's pattern of activity, biometric identification. Because sometimes let us consider somebody has hit me and I'm sleeping means your phone will not open. So that all facilities are available now. So in this way, this analytics helps me. So again, the main thing you have to concentrate here is what? The data. The data is collected based on your past behavior, based, everything, the data is collected, and based on that only, your machine learning reacts. Okay. So here, the main thing we have is I should have technology which should deal with huge volumes of transaction within a shorter period and broader set of data. So here something called as big data comes. Hope you will have a big data session also in this digital musing. So you'll be learning more in that because tons and tons of data are generated, right? So main thing which is used is big data analytics is used, right? So you will have a separate session for that also. So I'm just skipping that. So these are the few case studies which I'd like to share with you. So this MasterCard, uh, you know, uh, everyone knows this is a card acquirer they are, and they are used to, they have products and services, shopping, traveling, running business and managing finance. So everything they have. So I need not give any introduction about MasterCard. Just here I'm giving a two challenges they have faced. They might have faced several challenges, but simply we are giving two challenges what they have faced. So first, they have faced is merchants credit risk. See, Mastercard is there, and anybody can act as I told you, anybody can act as a merchant. So they will not be having enough data, history of the merchants, right? So they were in lack of history of merchants. So if a new fraud merchant comes, they could not easily identify whether this merchant is a genuine or he is a fraudster using the regular RDBMS technology which they were using, right? Based on the credit history, they could not because the pattern, the type of attack of fraudsters will evolve. So today they will be using one technique, tomorrow they will be using another techniques. The conventional RDBMS, known as Relational Database Management System, the conventional RDBMS, it's they will have set of rules and regulations. They would have written some rules, but it was not sufficient to deal with the merchant's credit risk, and they were losing millions and millions in that. Why? Because they would have thought this merchant is genuine, so they would have sanctioned the amount. But at the end of the day, the merchant would have got maximum amount from the acquirer, and he would have flew away. So they could not help it. So what this RDBMS, financial this Mastercard did, they replaced it with machine learning algorithm. Again, it is a data analysis, data analytics. So when these machine learning algorithms, they were very supreme, like you know I'm not going to the technical part, but if anything abnormal happens, uh, it will alert you that something is wrong. And if anything regular pattern, previously something has happened of a fraudulent activity has happened, again it will inform you. So all these things, so they have this Mastercard has replaced their conventional RDBMS with machine learning technology. You just think, and and now it's very easy for them. So for a small example, I have given around 65 million transaction per hour they could do, and with 1.9 million rules to examine each transaction. You just think what how analytics has helped them to to reduce this merchant credit risk. So machine learning algorithm, it works like it do wonders. Then another problem they were facing is identity theft. As I've told you, identity theft is a great issue. So some other person will be having your card. Let us consider your card got stolen, right? So what to do? So what they have existing, they were using like biometric. They were using fingerprint, face ID detection, and also existing thing they were using. But again, it didn't help. Again, it didn't help. What they did, somebody could have kidnapped you. They could have used your face. They could have used your ID. So what they did, they changed it to machine learning. So when machine learning they came, what happened? As I discussed earlier, it identified your pattern of activities, how person's patterns of activities, how you hold your mobile phones, and how you type, what is the speed at which you type in your mobile phones, right? How you, in which way you, do transact, everything. You see the pressure, how much pressure you put on the screen, everything. How do you tap it? How do you swipe it? So all the things will be machine learning, ML will be learning. So once they learn all these stuffs, so it's not easy for anybody to use your credit card. So this is the another thing. Mastercard has successfully used analytics. So and they have combated the frauds which is happening in their cards. So like if biometric of profile does not match, then transaction is failed. Whatever you try, the transaction will not come. So this is the one area, one example. And another example is another top US bank. They are having around 1,500 branches in US, right? So they also had the same problem. So for example, this is what I mean. Today, the attacker will be using one type of technique, right? Tomorrow, they will be using another type of techniques. So the thing is that these are evolving. Nothing is permanent there. Everyone is evolving. So there should be a new technology to identify something is abnormal. So there again comes machine learning, right? So again, they have replaced their existing system, because the existing system, what it will do, it will have set of rules and regulation. Okay, if this rule is violated, then this something has happened. But what will happen if a new set of attack comes? The existing fraud detection technique will not tell you something went wrong. So what we are supposed to do, what they say, what they have did, they have replaced it with the machine learning techniques. And then now they are very successful. So this is one bank. Another bank we have, United Overseas Bank, improves AML. AML we call it as anti-money laundering. So anti-money laundering, as I told you, many countries, they don't have proper system to check whether the money came from a genuine party or money came from a fraudster, right? So, and this particular bank, they were using legacy database systems. These are the, again, one kind of database system they were using. Conventional, they were using legacy database systems. So now when they were using, they have some problem, they could not handle with different types of data. They could not have with different types of data with different varieties, they could not have handle it, right? So again, they came with the machine learning models, and these machine learning models, again, it has prevented to a greater extent the anti-money laundering, the money laundering, it has prevented. So they have successfully implemented anti-money laundering, this particular bank, right? And we have another bank. This is the last one, Bank Danamon. So it's one of the biggest, largest Indonesian financial institution, right? And here again, so main thing they have is, consumer centric digital services. What do you mean by consumer? Their main challenge was consumer centric. Like, I want everything to be in mobile phone, right? So in mobile phone, if I'm doing everything, again, there should not be any fraudulent activity, should not happen. So at that time, they regularly, they were using, conventional techniques like RDBMS and other database systems, and their data in silos, it got deposited. But, they could not effectively provide the good experience to the customers. At the same time, they could not effectively control the frauds. So again, they came and they applied machine learning models, and then these machine learning models, it helped them to identify if any fraudulent activity has happened. And also it helps, it also helps them to identify the customer needs any special service. Does he needs any housing loan, or if he has got educational loan, means what loan he might be asking next. Does he need of any cards or credit cards? So all those stuffs, is everything is possible because of machine learning only. So here, so with this I conclude today. Thank you. So hope somewhat I have covered in how the analytics helps in here. Analytics helps to combat these financial frauds which is happening in uh, financial industry. And again, I'm telling you, I'm just touching the iceberg. And no, as a techno manager, what I want you to know is, you need not go and learn the algorithm. That's not necessary. Everything is there. Everything is there, but the thing is that we have to be updated. What are the new technologies which are arriving in the market? So we should be aware of what are the new technologies, because until unless we are aware of it, we cannot, we cannot combat that. We cannot combat if any frauds is happening, until unless, for example, if I'm using Facebook, so again, Facebook, I should know what are the negatives of Facebooks, and based on that only I should be using my social media. So analytics is used in everywhere. The main thing as a techno manager, what you should know is what is the technology hidden inside, and how to use the technology is up to you. So these are the various things. So the people who have used it, they knew about machine learning, but they didn't know what's know how of the machine learning. But they knew that machine learning, if I use artificial intelligence, if I use deep learning, surely I could combat it. So this is about it. If you have any doubts, you could ask me.